Two brothers grew up in the same house, went to the same schools, and started their careers earning almost identical salaries. For most of their lives, you wouldn't have been able to tell them apart financially, but by the time they turned 65, their lives looked completely different. One had over $1.4 million saved, a paid-off home, and the freedom to retire comfortably. The other had less than $200,000, lingering debt, and was still working part-time just to cover basic expenses. Here's the part that shocks most people. That gap wasn't created over 40 years. It was created in a single decade, their 40s. And if you're not careful, that same decade will quietly decide your financial future too. If you want more breakdowns like this, practical, real-world financial decisions that actually impact your life, make sure you subscribe. Most people don't realize these patterns until it's too late. This channel is about making sure that doesn't happen to you. Because the truth is, your 40s aren't just another decade. They are the most financially dangerous and most financially powerful years of your life. And almost nobody treats them that way. Most people think wealth is built slowly, over time, through consistent saving and investing. And while that's partially true, it hides something much more important. Wealth isn't just built by time. It's shaped by decisions. And the decisions you make in your 40s carry more weight than almost any other period in your life. This is what I call the 40s wealth window. It's the decade where three powerful forces collide at the same time. First, your income is usually at or near its peak. You've built experience. You've climbed the ladder. You're earning more than you did in your 20s or 30s. Second, your expenses are also at their highest. Mortgage payments, childcare, teenage expenses, college planning, lifestyle upgrades, it all stacks up at once. And third, your time horizon is shrinking. You no longer have 30 or 40 years for compound interest to quietly fix your mistakes. Now, every decision you make has amplified consequences, and when these three forces combine, they create a narrow window where your financial trajectory can permanently split. That's exactly what happened to those two brothers. Not because one was smarter, not because one earned dramatically more, but because they made different decisions during the one decade that mattered most. To understand why this decade is so critical, you need to understand one uncomfortable truth. Time is the most valuable asset in investing, and by your 40s, you have far less of it than you think. If you invest money at 25, it has 40 years to grow. At 45, it has maybe 20. That's not just half the time. It's exponentially less growth. And that means every dollar you delay investing now costs you far more than it used to. Let's make this real. If you invest $10,000 at age 25 and earn an average return, that money could grow to over $100,000 by retirement. Wait until 45 to invest that same $10,000 and it might only grow to $40,000. Same money, same market, completely different outcome. This is the silent math behind the 40s wealth window, and it's why mistakes in this decade are so hard to recover from. Now here's where things get dangerous, because at the exact moment when your decisions matter the most, life becomes the most expensive it has ever been. This is the decade of what I call the lifestyle inflation trap. You've worked hard, your income has increased, and naturally your lifestyle starts to follow. You upgrade your home, you upgrade your car, you start spending more on experiences, convenience, and comfort. None of these decisions feel reckless. In fact, they feel deserved. But here's the problem. Every dollar that flows into lifestyle is a dollar that no longer flows into your future. And in your 40s, that trade-off becomes brutally expensive. Take housing, for example. This is where many families make what seems like a reasonable decision, but ends up costing them their financial freedom. You've outgrown your starter home. You want more space, better schools, a nicer neighborhood. So you upgrade. Bigger house, bigger mortgage, higher property taxes, more maintenance. On paper, it feels like progress, but what most people don't calculate is the true cost of that upgrade over 20 to 25 years. An extra $1,500 a month doesn't just mean $18,000 a year. It means hundreds of thousands of dollars that could have been invested. And when you factor in lost compound growth, that decision can easily cost over $500,000 in future wealth. This is what I call the $1 million upgrade trap, and most people walk straight into it without realizing it. Cars are another silent wealth killer. In your 20s, driving a modest car is normal. In your 40s, expectations change. You deserve something nicer. So instead of driving a reliable, paid-off vehicle, you take on a $700 or $900 monthly payment. Again, it feels small in isolation, but over a decade? That's tens of thousands of dollars gone. And more importantly, it's tens of thousands of dollars not invested during your most critical wealth-building years. Then there's one of the most emotionally difficult decisions: paying for your children's college. This is where many people make a choice that feels right in the moment, but creates long-term financial damage. They reduce retirement contributions or stop them entirely to help cover tuition. Because as a parent, it feels like the responsible thing to do. But here's the hard truth. You can borrow for college. You cannot borrow for retirement. Every dollar you redirect away from your future in your 40s becomes incredibly difficult to replace later. And this is one of the most common ways people unknowingly sacrifice their long-term security. Career decisions also carry more weight in this decade than most people realize. In your 20s and 30s, you can take risks. You can switch industries, start over, try new things. In your 40s, those options become more limited. Not impossible, but riskier. Because now you have more financial obligations, more people depending on you, less time to recover from a setback. And this leads many people into what I call the comfort trap. They stay in roles that are stable, but stagnant. They avoid opportunities that could significantly increase their income. And over time, that decision quietly caps their financial potential. Now here's where everything comes together. Because all of these decisions, housing, cars, college, career, lifestyle, share one common thread. They trade long-term wealth for short-term comfort. And in your 40s, that trade becomes irreversible faster than you expect. So if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this. Your financial future is not decided by how much you earn. It's decided by how you allocate your income during your most critical years. So what should you actually do? Let's make this practical. If you're approaching your 40s, this is the time to prepare. Build the habits now that will protect you later. Keep your fixed expenses under control. Avoid locking yourself into high-cost lifestyle commitments, and start thinking about your future in decades, not just months. If you're already in your 40s, this is your moment of truth. This is the decade where small changes can still create massive results, but only if you act intentionally. Here are a few rules that can dramatically change your trajectory. First, treat every raise as a wealth-building opportunity. Instead of increasing your lifestyle, direct at least 50% of any income increase toward investments. Second, run the long-term costs before making major financial decisions. Not just the monthly payment, but the 20-year impact. Third, protect your retirement contributions at all costs. Do not reduce them unless absolutely necessary. Fourth, regularly track your net worth, not just your income, because income tells you how much you earn. Net worth tells you how much you're actually keeping. If you're in your late 40s or beyond, the focus shifts slightly. Now it's about optimization, eliminating inefficiencies, maximizing contributions, reducing unnecessary expenses, and making sure the next 10 to 15 years are as productive as possible. Because while you can't go back in time, you can still make the years ahead count. Now imagine two futures. In one, you continue making decisions the way most people do, gradually increasing your lifestyle, pushing retirement planning just a little further out, assuming things will work out, and one day you wake up in your 60s realizing that time has run out faster than you expected. In the other future, you recognize the importance of this decade. You make intentional choices. You prioritize long-term security over short-term upgrades, and you build a financial position that gives you options, flexibility, and peace of mind. The difference between those two futures is not luck, it's awareness and action. Because in the end, the 40s wealth window doesn't stay open forever. And most people don't even realize they were in it until it's already closed. The good news, if you're watching this now, you still have time to make different decisions. And those decisions, more than anything else, will determine where you end up. So take a moment, look at your current trajectory, and ask yourself one question. Are the decisions you're making today building the future you actually want? If not, now is the time to change them. And if you want more content like this, clear, practical insights that help you make better financial decisions, make sure you subscribe. Because the right information at the right time can completely change your outcome. And this might be the decade where it matters most.